Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast, sponsored by Prize Picks. This is the CSGO Clutch Podcast, Heat Edition, Heatwave Edition. Dan, it's hot out there.
Adam, I heard a rumor that your air conditioner is off, and that's not okay.
Right, so Dan and I do plenty of audio checks before we do audio checks before the podcast start. And I heard my air conditioner in the background because there was just like this little not like feedback, but there was this noise in the background. I'm like, that's not happening for the podcast because my mic just picked it up. So I have my fan going, but I don't have my AC going. So this may be a quicker than normal podcast, which I'm sure the listeners out there won't mind us listening to us babbling for an hour.
It'll be okay.
So we're not going, and not because of the heat. So we're not going to be doing any kind of recap today. Dan and I are just jumping right into the DFS portion. It's a very fun 4-game slate. I think you can get creative with some of these teams, Dan. I think there were 2 games here that stand out to me as could go either way. And I should just entitle this podcast, Am I going to play Akuma for the 3rd day in a row? Or I can't even tell. I don't even know if I played him. I played Akuma yesterday on this past slate. I got crushed. You know, Dan, round 1, Sensei, pistol 1v3 clutch ace. Pistol ace and a 1v3 clutch. I'm like, okay, we're doing really good now. It did not do good after that at all.
No.
Electronic and Bit started picking them off one by one like they were playing amateurs. Electronic had full command of mid, and they couldn't do anything.
Back, buddy.
I wouldn't call him back. It's Akuma, and I think
he's back.
Look, if Electronic is back, then they're gonna be favorites to head into IEM Cologne.
Yeah, I know. I mean, Remember last? I don't remember if you remember from last year. He had a baby, so he was. Remember,
did he?
And they thought, yeah, he was like he had like a brand new baby. And
Nice.
Trying to be good at Counter-Strike, which is like impossible. So I think now that the baby's a year old, he's probably more focused, getting a better night's sleep.
Well, I can tell you this much: if Electronic is going to be back to top 10 form, Navi are going to be dangerous because next week we head to our first LAN event in a year and a half, or almost a year and a half. And so IEM Cologne is going to be out of a hotel. Go to hltv.org. They have an interesting article there. It's either there or you can head over to like the ESL actual ESL gaming page, or there was a Facebook page. I read an article somewhere. I think it was an ESL gaming Facebook page where they talked about LAN and what they were doing, the safety protocols, and how they're going to try making it, kind of sort of like a normal event, but also at the same time they're taking safety very, very seriously. This event, IEM Cologne, was supposed to be in Malta. They couldn't do that because of Malta's COVID travel restriction protocols. So they're trying to do everything as possible. So all the players are getting tested prior to arrival or upon arrival. Then they're all being quarantined for a minimum of 3 days. There's only so many spots they can go in the hotel. But we're gonna have LAN. We're gonna have a full LAN setup. It's back. No fans yet. Those are coming later this year, hopefully. But we're actually gonna see some LAN play, and we know Navi, the old Astralis roster. I think Team Vitality will point, Team Liquid, or the old Team Liquid roster. There are these veterans that have been around the game. You survived the online era. You're getting back to LAN. And they were the Titans. Navi were a Titan. They won the last LAN event, I believe. They won IEM Katowice 2020. So...
yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
This is a team where we know if Simple and Electronic are playing at their top level, and now they're back on LAN. GG's. Because they're going to be very tough to topple. Now, I'm not taking anything away from teams like Gambit and Heroic, because to me, those are 2 teams that have proven something. They have absolutely proven they deserve to belong. They be given a major benefit of the doubt when we get to LAN. we got a 4-game slate to review. You and I can talk all about this when we talk about and the beginnings of IEM Cologne. So we'll have, as we normally do for a day one of an event here on the podcast, we'll do a Counter-Strike portion. We'll talk about the event. We'll talk about some recent news, and then we'll get into the DFS piece. We have a lot to talk about when it comes to LAN because there are some teams that I'm very interested to see. And Gambit and Heroic being the tops of them. And what are we getting out of Mouse Sports? That'll be it. That'll be interesting.
Yep.
So, in the meantime, Dan, are you ready to talk about this 4-game slate? Again, folks, there's no recap here today, and again, it's not because of the heat. We want to get right into the 4-game slate here. So, we're going to start off with Nemiga versus Akuma. Dan, what are we doing with this game? Because this is one of the 2 games that I mentioned I think can go either way.
It certainly can. Maybe tomorrow is the day to play Akuma. But at the same time, I actually was a proponent for Team Nemiga against Gambit, so if I'm supposed to use, but I was using a little bit different logic back then, which turned out to be completely just gibberish. But yeah, I think it could go either way, and I think it's a good hedge spot. You want to get, in your lineups, if you do 20, you want to have 10 on one side and 10 on the other.
I think that's a very fair way to split it. I actually really like that logic, like taking a little bit from each side. Like, let's actually head over to the Pinnacle odds. I'm curious if we have lines up for this game because
I bet it's close.
Let's take a look. Where are we at? Star Ladder CS RMR event. So we don't have a lineup for this. I don't know why we don't have an Akuma lineout. Maybe Pinnacle doesn't like the accused cheaters. I'm kidding. So we have no line for this. If I had to guess, I would guess that Nemiga comes in as a slight favorite because they should be overall the better team. I think Idis Balance at 8,200 is a fantastic play. So you and I are looking at pricing here for the first time live as we record this podcast. So I really love the $8,200 price tag for Idis Balance. And Sensei finally got a price boost as well to 7,200. If you're for you, because I'm curious for you on single entry, like large field GPPs, I'm fine playing both sides of this. There are a bunch of players in play. Like you play the top 3 from the Amiga, and you play the top 3 from Akuma. So I have no interest in Box, MDS, Psycho, or Jackie. No interest in any of them. So I think it's a top 3 from each of them. Pick 2 and stack, or pick as a one-off. From a single entry though perspective, how are you approaching this? Are you approaching it more as like a safety in Nemiga, or are you going for a little bit of upside in Akuma? Because I do think Akuma can beat Nemiga.
100%. I would be a little bit leery of Sensei because I think he could be super chalk, but I don't know, maybe not. That's just my gut.
I can see that.
Still playing. And I mean, he would have to be at 7,200 if he's like 30% or less, I would be totally fine with that. But I mean, I think Sensei is the only one that I really have any interest in. Maybe Psycho, just because I've had some good experience with him.
Okay.
And then on the Nemiga side, I feel like pretty much anybody's in play on Nemiga.
Very nice. I mean, you even playing the guys like Box and MDS who typically don't score well.
Yeah.
I like it. I do want to point out though, Lollipop 21K 9,200. That's a steep ask for him.
It is, but it's a good spot, and he is.
It is.
I mean, he pops off. He's a good ceiling rifler.
Yep. I think that Lollipop price tag at 9,200 is like the Hobbit spot from the other day, where Hobbit was just so expensive. It's like, do we pay up Shiro? Did we just go to Exile? And Hobbit was kind of left in this no man's land of a weird pricing. I think we kind of see the same thing with Lollipop 21K here. But I think we go Idis Balance, Lollipop 21K, Joe for me on the Nemiga side, and Sensei, DemQQ, Sergis for Akuma.
Ooh. Yeah, Joe's a good. I feel like Joe's a good play. For sure.
Joe's a very good play.
Yeah.
We know what Joe can do. We know he's a very good large field GPP play. So we will see. We
Almost like the Joe and Lollipop combo.
For sure. All right, let's head on to. I just dropped my webcam. That's
Don't take your webcam.
oh, that's fine. I'll clean and sanitize it later. Uh Gotta give it a wipe down off the dirty floor. All right, here we go. This game is not gonna take us long, Dan. It's Team Spirit versus 100 PG. You and I were talking pre-show. All right, so Mir is the most expensive player on the slate. Just giving everyone perspective. He's 10,200. Mir right now at the tier that he is on is unfadable.
Yeah. That's a good take.
Here is the last 4 games from him on DK. 82 DK points, 98, 177. He's playing some amazing Counter-Strike right now. Haven't had a chance to watch much, but these scores tell me he's been the best player on Team Spirit. He's been leading the charge. I have a ton of interest in Mir on the slate. I don't mind a Mir one-off. I don't care if you stack Mir with somebody else. Just be very careful because Dexter's 9,400, SDY 8,400. Who do we get for value? Like, are you playing K23? Are you playing Fours? Are you playing Akuma? Like, just be very careful. Like, take your stands. But I think Mir right now, at least as of game 2, is a core play for me on the slate. And to me, it's unfadable. Not saying you can't go underweight. I think he's unfadable. Until we see him, I guess, come back down to earth a bit. But right now, just continue to ride the train.
Yeah, maybe he can have another ceiling day where they go 3 maps and maybe Hunter Ping can take a Inferno or something from them.
It's possible. Do you have any interest in anyone from 100 PG?
I think yeah, Winter, Soro, and Smiley.
I have no interest in anyone from 100 PG. If you want to play 2, it's Smiley or Winter. That's it. I prefer Smiley being the opper. We know Dexter is vulnerable. But I think you just... all of Team Spirit are in play here. And like I said, Mir is one of the best plays on the entire slate.
I mean, it would be like max 1. Wouldn't be any comp. Because, as you can see, like we've seen, even when there's a big upset, a lot situation for salary savings.
We lost you there for a second. Repeat that again for us. Sorry about that, folks.
Oh, you lost me?
We did. We lost you there for a second, Dan. So what were you saying about the 100 PG folks? You were talking about how they may not be able to score well even in a win.
Yeah, just I think we've seen the data that says that these upsets don't always translate to a good DFS day.
Agreed. And that is a downside. If they go 2-1, for example, like, didn't we just see this with VP and Team Spirit today outside of Mir? No one scored well. So your point is well taken. Team Spirit side of things. Do you agree all 5 are in play?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you agree all 5 of Team Spirit are in play?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, SDY is a little bit high, but he's got like one of the best player ratings on their team. So
I think Magisk is interesting at 7,400, and Chopper at 6,200, definitely in play. Like I said, everyone from Team Spirit in play.
Yeah, I think Spirit's gonna be super chalk too.
I can absolutely see that. All right, are you ready to get into the third game here on this? Unless there's something else you want to talk about.
Oh, I'm good.
All right, cool, man. Let's do this. This is the other game that I mentioned that I think can go either way. It's Virtus Pro. It's K23. K23 defeating Entropic today 2-0. K23, again, not a bad team.
No.
What are you doing with this game? Because Kickert doing insane things recently.
Yeah. I think what you're alluding to is that the rest of the pieces on Virtus Pro are starting to show up.
If this team starts playing good, like consistently team-based good, and teams can stop anti-stratting the crap out of you, Kinder, um, he's just. I don't know what to do with you, Kinder. I really don't. Like, when he starts going off and he starts getting the other team frustrated, they have no answer for him, he crushes. If they figure out, like, a couple rounds in, okay, your Kindar and Overpass likes to rush A Fountain. You can easily anti-strat that by just stacking Fountain, crushing your Kindar, and going up 5-4.
Yeah, and then move on to another position.
Right, like, I don't know. Like, what are you doing with this game? Because K23 to me is very interesting.
I mean, my gut was initially to K23, but sometimes when I feel like I'm right, I'm wrong. Do you know what I mean? Like you get that feeling, like no way, there's no way that First Pro will lose to K23, and then
And then variance hits.
and then yeah, it seems like every time I take one of those like really serious stands, it always seems to go the opposite direction. But I would like to say this could go either way, but um, it's really important that fame shows up
I agree.
and uh, um, and Nealon shows up as well.
See, I think Fame and Mo need to show up.
Mo definitely. Mo's good.
5,600. Mo is
Mo's
5,600.
50. Yeah, okay. Well,
Neelan is 5,000. I have
there's some other.
absolutely interest in every player for both teams. And again, this isn't like an Amiga Akuma, that's only top 3. All 10 players from both teams are firmly in play for me for large field GPPs.
Yeah.
Because this could be a Sanji day. We could see a Dren pop off at 4,400. Mo at 5,600. Neelan at 5,000. What does Neelan really need to do at 5,000 to get us like 50, 60 points?
He's gonna not too much. He's so good too. He's a young kid. And he's really like improved and
this team has potential. They really got potential.
Yeah. Where was Fame before? Can you look that up?
Let me actually we'll pull that up. It's out of hltv.org. Let's pull up Fame's profile. Excuse me. Fame was with SG.pro.
SG.pro. Those guys were crazy. Like they were just super aggressive, and they would buy like every round. Like no matter what happened the previous round, they would never save. They would always buy up, and so they would lose like either they would lose 16-2 or they'd win. But
Yeah.
in the other direction at the same variant spread. So
Yep. If you had to have an inkling right now for single entry, how are you leaning? Obviously, things are going to change after you record this. You take a look at a couple of the things. Okay, so you're leaning right now, as of this recording, K23.
And that's only because there's other expensive pieces that I want, so K23 just makes those work.
I like it.
Yeah.
If I had to put it for a large field GPP perspective, I'm stacking 2 from K23, and
Yeah.
I'm not building around it, but they're like a secondary stack that I want. Because if I can capture an upside of like a 2-0, even a 2-1, and 1 or 2 of these guys end up as double-digit kill to death differentials, they're going to be optimal. So, and I think that's very, very viable. Norbert is my favorite of anyone on K23.
Why?
As he's the ace of the team. He's solid. He seems to always do solid, and we know Norbert has upside.
Look at his stats. Let me.
Unless there's something I'm missing.
Give me some proof.
Why has he been in a slump? That's unacceptable.
I'm not a believer yet in the Norbert, but everyone else is.
I am. Again, I was playing Norbert a lot last year, and he did very well. Maybe Fame's taken a little bit of the pressure off of him, but I think Norba's a good play.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just.
He's a
I
risky
think.
play.
Yeah, super high ceiling, right? It's kind of like it's
Yeah.
only. He's kind of almost like Yakinder, where it's like -20 or +20.
Yep. Um,
um,
I
or
think
or just
K23
straight
is like
even.
is like the old OG light. They're not super crazy, awesome fraggers. They're a great balance to defensive team, and they can give fits to teams. That's what K23 kind of reminds me of.
So that's a good historical analogy there. So that because remember last year when OG was up and coming, um, they took down some big
They
teams.
did. And
I
how
don't
did they
remember any
do it?
specific.
They played passive. They held their angles. They waited for the other teams to be aggressive, push, and make a mistake. And Alexi has called fantastic games.
Then they have a Dren.
Mm-hmm. I just think K23 is like the tier 2 version of the old OG. Balanced to defensive, good strats. Again, they may not have the firepower of a James Yakinder, but I think they can cause fits.
That's a good
So
spot for them to upset for
I
sure.
I agree. All right, before we get into our final game here, Dan, on the slate, I'd like to take this moment to give our friends at Prize Picks a little shout out. Head over to prizepicks.com. Use the promo code CLUTCH. Again, promo code CLUTCH gets new depositors a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. It's an amazing, amazing site. I entered $12 in Counter Strike yesterday, and I went 5 for 5. So it's an amazing site because you're picking against a line. You're not picking against, the 1764 people that I'm going to be playing against here on DraftKings. You're playing against the line. And if you have a good inkling and feeling about someone, you don't have to agree with Dan and I.
No, absolutely not.
You pick whoever you want based on your research, your gut, you watching the games. However it is you want to do it. You think the other one's too tough for a matchup? Fine, take it under. You think someone's going to crush? Take the over. Um,
Yep.
it's a great website. We have our prize pick segment as always at the end of the podcast. It's at the end of the podcast. Why? Because we give you all the analysis first. We go over DraftKings first. We break everything down. And by the time we've done all of our research on top of doing it with you all and our own opinions, you have a full analysis to go when we pick our picks. And again, we can reiterate some of that stuff that we went over on the podcast. Dan,
Yeah, yeah.
got anything to say about our friends over at Prize Picks? Besides they're awesome.
No, I like our process because the conclusion is what happens on Prize Picks of our what we talk through on DraftKings, and then we can if you and I want to make any changes based on what we see in Prize Picks, we would also mention that if we
Agreed.
saw something
We
crazy.
also do want to make mention something, Dan, that you and I don't talk about enough is these lines change.
Yeah, they do.
So
They sure do.
what you see here on the podcast is not what you may see if you're listening to this like in the morning and you're like, "Hey, why did that drop like 2 kills?" Right? Like the lines move, they change. If you ever have questions, reach out to us on Twitter at AdamWX21, at Wandelch, WANDELCH, or you can hit us up at our podcast Twitter, at CSGO Clutch Pod. We'd be more than happy to answer any questions related to prize picks or any questions you have on the slate. Which leads me into our final game here on the slate, Dan. Fours versus Navi. I
I'll
think
say it again.
I think Fours is going to upset.
No, I
You
mean they can.
I think it's very possible. Granted, I did say Fours was going to be Gambit. Um,
And well, I didn't disagree with you.
Fours, they are a really good team.
Yeah,
And what DraftKings? What up with the disrespect to Kensei?
I don't know.
$4,800.
Yeah, I don't get that. There's got to be some lag from some bad matches.
Why the disrespect? He's one of
He's
the
like the
top 3 players on fours, and he's 4,800.
he's like the new Issa.
I
Remember?
ooh, that's a
Yeah.
good call.
Oh, thanks.
I,
Thanks.
I miss playing this sort of DFS.
Yeah, me too. I remember when you wrote one of your first articles on
Roto
Roto
Grinders,
Grinders,
yeah.
and I played Issa in Captain and I crushed. And one of the first things you said, you're like, Dan, I don't know how you got that out of my article, but I just got lucky, because I played him in Captain because I needed to save the money so that I could get like electronics, info, and all that stuff. So,
Yep. So Dan,
but
what are you doing with Navi versus Force here? Navi should win this matchup 8 out of 10 times, in my opinion.
I think that's probably a good ratio of if you're doing GPP to have 80% Navi, 20%, and then hedge 20% with fours. I really something's clicking with the Navi boys, and I don't know that it's even simple. I think it's the other four. Um,
I think this is
you-
a nice like prove it to me game bit type of day.
yeah,
You beat up on Akuma. Congratulations.
yeah, big time.
Show it up against this tier 2 team in Force, who's top 20 in the world, by the way.
And they know the CIS region is always just competitive with each other. So.
Force is ranked 16th in the world, according to HLTV's rankings.
Yeah,
Six,
look,
16th.
I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just like kind of I'm in that spot where I'm like, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
it's there's just now he's gonna stop him. And so I don't know if you know this, but in the middle of the match, or I guess I don't know if you watched it, but Simple actually logged out of the server while the match was still going, and he tweeted. He said, uh, "This match is so boring."
Did he really?
He did.
Oh.
And then Smooya actually responded and said, "Dude, you got to be careful. You could get in trouble for doing that." And I totally see why. I mean, you're
It's
basically communicating
it's an
with the
official
outside.
game.
Yeah. So I'm a little worried. I'm a little concerned with that, but I'm
Do
not
you think?
concerned with the other four.
I don't think Simple's getting reprimanded. Um, no, you shouldn't be doing that with the outside world. Granted, you can stream. Again, we'll talk about player POVs coming back next week, but
Oh, cool.
logging out of an official game you shouldn't be doing. Because that
No.
means your captain, I'm sorry, your coach, has to sub in for you.
Yeah.
Simple, you are the second or first best player in the world. First or second, 1A, 1B with Zaiwu. I understand it's Akuma, or whoever they were playing. Was right, it was Akuma.
Yeah, Kuma. Yeah. Yeah. I
That
mean, it was.
or it was a statement against Akuma.
Oh, for sure. And you want to know the craziest part? It was an eco round, and they had for an eco for Navi, and they'd already. It was like 3-1, 3 versus 1, and they all had pistols, and he logged out. So he was basically like, "We're still gonna kill you with our pistols," and I'm done. But then
So
they,
again,
but then Jackie actually won. He won. He got like a 1v3 clutch to win.
we can speculate all about this. Do you want? To me, what that says is, oh, so I can go do this. Let me go see what you guys are doing on your end. I'm gonna log out. We're better than you.
Yep,
And you don't. And I don't have to cheat to have this win. My team can beat you on our own.
exactly on an eco
That just
round.
seemed like some reverse like psychology or like smack to Akuma like don't pull that bullshit in an official game.
Oh, dude, totally, totally.
Like
I
pardon
100%
my
agree.
language, but that's exactly what that said to me. Don't be pulling cheating bullshit in this game. And to me that was a statement. Now, it was it a little cocky by Simple? Sure. But
Yeah.
he's again 1A 1B with Simple. You can interchange those two in either role. I think it's Simple right now is the best player in the world. It's still tough not to take that out of that spot though. Everyone from Navi are in play. Don't
Yep.
play Flamey. Flamey's not on the active roster.
Yeah, no flaming.
He's not questionable. He's out. Um, like I said, I have interest in for Zordy, Flit, Jerry, Kensei, Almeza for me in that order. Everyone is fully in play for large field GPPs. I wouldn't go crazy. Like, if you want to do stacks, I wouldn't go crazy, like more than 30%. I think that gets you plenty of exposure. I wouldn't go crazy on the fours side, though. Anything else you want to
Yeah.
talk about from this game before we get into our next segment?
No, but the more we talk about it, the more I like fours. The more that I like process it, I guess.
they, if they're clicking on all cylinders and just either simple electronic or bit have bad days,
Yeah,
again,
that's trouble.
It's a video game. You
It
know,
is? No.
this isn't like we're taking the I'm trying to think. Give me a bad NFL defense. The Jets defense against you
Yeah, the
know
Jets.
against Christian
I'm glad that's
McCaffrey.
who you thought of.
They were the first. I'm scrolling through them like, who was a bad defense? Oh yeah, Jets, and like they're playing the Panthers, and Christian McCaffrey is active, and you're just locking in Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
This isn't like this. This is a video game. Everyone, players have off days, and
Actually, Carolina's run defense was pretty bad too. Just saying.
yes, but Christian McCaffrey can't run against his own team.
I know.
Uh, I'm a big CMC fan. I've been a fan of his since he came out of college.
Oh yeah, he's awesome.
I had. Do you remember the whole Leonard Fournette versus Christian McCaffrey debate?
Of course.
I was on the Christian McCaffrey side of that debate, and after year one, it was like, and it's like, hi, Christian McCaffrey, best running back in football.
But guess who has a Super Bowl ring, Adam?
Thank you, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
uh, you, you know who else who has a Super Bowl ring? LeGarrette Blount.
Who?
LeGarrette Blount.
That is true. Yeah,
I think wasn't he part of like that? Like was it that 17 touchdown season?
Yeah. I think he even scored in the Super Bowl.
Anyway, all right, I digress.
Totally off topic.
Folks, hit that before we get into our next segment. Hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Again, we're trying to grow this podcast. More likes, more comments, more subscribers. The better it is for us to get this podcast in front of more eyes here on YouTube. Dan, core value, GPP, favorite team stack segment. Who you got?
Sorry, I'm just got a little distracted there for a second.
That is okay. Stop looking at Christian McCaffrey stats. We'll do fantasy football and do that stuff later.
All right, core. I'm actually gonna go with electronic.
That's not Christian McCaffrey.
It's pretty. His price is pretty decent, and I think he's. I'm gonna go with my little narrative that he's getting a good night's sleep, so he can pop off. So electronic for
You're
core.
going with the baby narrative.
I am. Value is actually Nealon, who you mentioned.
5,000. Yep.
And GPP is a little bit tougher.
It is tough because this is like a lot of people are kind of in play for GPPs.
Yeah.
It's a very nice GPP slate.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Probably, you could almost say Nealon again. I think Norbert.
Yeah. Again, like, if Norbert goes off, he has a ceiling. We've seen it before when we play him in DFS. Has he shown it recently? No. Do we know he has it? Yes. Cool. Do you have a favorite team stack?
Navi.
I like it. For what it's worth, I think I'm debating on trying to trade for Christian McCaffrey in Dynasty. I don't think the owner's going to give him up. But in case anyone out there, fantasy football fans, Christian McCaffrey is my number one running back. That's not breaking news, but he's also my number one overall player. If you can get him when you have the first pick in the draft, you draft Christian McCaffrey. He's so much fun to watch. But anyway, best running back of football. Fantasy football, yes.
One more thing. So Norbert's rating is actually a 1.18. So
that
good play.
He is. Very good on that stat. All right, core play for me. I've not gotten off of it. Mir.
Yep.
It's 100 PG. Don't get cute. I'm gonna be building around Mir today. Am I paying 15.3 for him in captain? Probably not. But I think he's a great player and someone I want to build around in my lineups. On my one lineup, I'm only playing one lineup on this slate. Value for me, can say at 4,800. There's no excuse why he's this low. He should be in the 6,000 range. If you want a second value play, I actually like Sanji at 6,000. There, I gave you a Dan Welch play.
Sandy's a good play, man.
He is. All right, GPP play.
You know, one second. So he has the highest headshot percentage on the team.
Does he really?
Yeah. And they cracked a joke. They're like, yeah, he has to get a headshots every time because he only gets a deagle.
that's so bad.
Like everyone, he has to buy everybody a gun.
Yeah. So the premise behind that is sometimes the support players buy the other stronger players' weapons. That way, they just gives the team a better chance to win. It's not so much about individual stats; it's about you're a team. You're trying to get the win. So yep, I've done that before. So I completely understand. And again,
Yeah.
you want to do that. You want to put the better weapons in, not underselling yourself, but you want to put them in your stars' hands for sure. All right, GPP play electronic and Dexter. Favorite team stack? I'll give you a large field GPP stack, Namiga. I think that's going to be a very interesting two-man stack for sure. And again, 4-game slate, don't stack 3. It's typically not optimal. Dan and I were looking at the winning lineup on this past slate. It was a 2-2-2. 4-game slates and above, you should try sticking with a max of 2 per stack. So, all right, Dan, let's get into our prize pick segment here.
Okay.
As you all see my NBA stuff going on here. And Bogdan is going to absolutely crush me. He's already at 24.2. He was listed as available! Anyway. All right. Let's take a look at what we got here.
Okay.
Who you like on this slate?
I think I just lost your.
I think I've got. Let's take a look at this. I'll tell you this, Dan. One player I really like, and that kind of sticks out to me. Look at this. Lollipop 21K, 40.5. Give me the under. I understand it's Akuma, but again, we said this game could go either way.
Under?
Lollipop 21K, give me the under. What do you think?
Oh.
What do you think, Dan? Lollipop 21K, 40.5. Give me the under in that game. Sorry, folks, got a little bit of technical difficulties. Just give us 1 second here. We'll try to get them fixed for you. In the meantime, I also really like the Elan line. Sorry, folks, I'm just rebooting up Discord here. Stododo versus Endpoint 35.5 is very interesting as well. So let's take a look at this real quick. Mezzi, give me under 41.5. Stododo, you could go either way with. Sorry, folks, technical difficulties. I have no idea what's going on. So, it's weird. It's like I just lost Dan on the other end. I am trying to reboot up Discord. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry for the technical difficulties. While I continue to get that booted up, we can continue to take a look here, folks, at the rest of these prize picks. Dan, are you there?
Am.
Sorry, I was telling the folks, I had some technical difficulties. Discord, glitched me out.
Yeah, I think we had a glitch. Definitely had a glitch.
It was a glitch on my end. So I was saying, Lollipop 21K, 40.5 is his line on Prize Picks. I like the under in that.
Yeah.
I was also
So,
people I like Mezzi 41.5 under. Stododo's an interesting line too. It's a really, really interesting line. So let's see. I mean, if you guys have good feelings about Electronic at 38.5, I think is also very interesting. Dan kind of talked about it earlier. So Dan talked about earlier Electronic at 38.5. If Electronic does well, he's gonna smash that line.
with
There he is! Dan, this is totally on mine. I've tried everything I could think of, and I am stalling for time here.
I'm doing my best. I just keep coming in and out. I don't know
Yes,
what's going
because it's on my end. My Discord connection has been cutting in and out, and it's been I can't figure out why. I
on.
may
Okay.
I may have to reinstall Discord after this.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've given a couple picks. I got Lollipop 21K under 40.5. I've got
I like it. I like it.
I've got Mezzi under 41.5 versus Saw.
Okay. I like that one too.
This is one that you were talking about earlier in Electronic.
Mm-hmm. 38 and a half. Go over.
38.5, I think, is an interesting line. And I think it's a really good target. Because I think right around 38 is probably what he's going to get. If I had to make an inkling, I'm going over 38.5.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, so give us some plays you like.
um,
I'll try not disconnecting this time. I'll blame Discord.
yeah, I think I'm worried I'm gonna get disconnected again.
No, you're good. We're clear.
Okay, we're good. I go with the over on Snatchy.
Over on Snatchy at 39.5 versus Entropic, okay?
Um, just I'm just thinking that Entropic is a little bit, not just because we have recency bias. I don't think they're as good as we all think they are. And then
I disagree with that completely.
I know Alien's good.
Yes, for sure.
I know Alien's good. I mean, and then I didn't even know Complexity was playing tomorrow.
So,
Over.
yep.
Poison over. Holy shit, yes.
Yeah. that was confident. All right. Yeah. So I believe they're playing in Swing Street Spring. So, um, anyone else you like here?
Um, Norbert over.
Okay. I also kind of like Zordy over 35.5. Like I think he
Yeah,
gets like that 36 mark. So like it's more of a risky play. But I think 35.5 is a little low for him. Again, it is Opera versus Simple.
yeah, it's very doable for him though.
I agree. We know this guy can smash. So, cool. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry about the difficulties. That is it for the CSGO Clutch podcast for
Hey, night.
June 30th. We will be back for the next main slate. For Dan, I'm Adam. Good luck on this slate. Latest, peoples.